Hi, Jason Rulo from Pinnacles Blog. This is blog number 8. Topic today is exercise in the elderly. This is regarding a recent study that came out on September 14th, released in the Journal of Archives of Internal Medicine. It was an Israeli study basically showing that exercise can stave off premature death in the elderly. There are a lot more benefits to exercise than just staving off an early death for the elderly, but I want to touch base on that information and make sure that everybody understands that you're never too young to start exercising, really. Strength training to some degree, but never too young, and you're definitely never too old. You can start receiving benefits anytime you're becoming physically active. Obviously, it's better to start young and to exercise a longer period of time throughout your life, and you'll have a much higher quality of life as you get older. But 60, 70, even 80 years old, you can start exercising and improve the quality of your life at that time and extend your life, at least your life expectancy. So the idea that exercise is just a young person's activity is for the birds. Basically, what this study, this Israeli study, showed that physically active people led or had less of a decline in their ability to perform their daily activities. That's really how they measured their decline, other than premature death. They were also more likely to live on their own. They didn't have to have assisted living, anything like that. Basically, what they found was that people that were physically active, whether it be moderate or vigorously physically active, between the ages of 70 and 78, decreased their premature chance of death, or chance of premature death, by 12%. When they exercised between ages 78 and 85, they decreased that premature chance of death by 15%. And then from the ages of 85 to 80, it increased or decreased their chance of premature death by 17%. So that means if you're exercising between those 18 years of 70 and 88, you're going to receive tremendous amount of benefit, and as far as quality of life, being able to stay active and live on your own and those type of things. Obviously, there are other things that can come along, such as injuries and things like that, that may require assisted living, but the idea is just as an overall, you're going to be, if you're physically active, you're going to be much more self-sufficient. Previous studies have shown that people who begin a strength training program specifically and are elderly can receive the same percentage of strength increases. Understand that's how it's measured, as far as your percent of strength increases, similar to those that are younger. Dr. Wayne Westcott of the YMCA, he's a program director for the YMCA nationally, exercise physiology program director, has done a lot of studies on the elderly and strength training, a little bit comparing and contrasting traditional strength training methods with Ken Hutchinson's super slow technique, which is a methodically slow up concentric and slow eccentric type movement, just to get an overall greater increase in overall musculature without the use of momentum. So it, in a sense, makes it a little more safe, especially for those who are of an advanced age. So he actually found that the super slow technique was even more beneficial for somebody who's elderly than it is for somebody who's younger, probably due to that fact, and due to the fact that I would also say that in the time that I've trained with that type of method, younger people tend to have less patience for it. It is methodical in its movement speed and that type of thing, and I would say that somebody who is a little bit older and has a little bit more patience with it and is not so apt to doing the traditional strength training method would probably stick with the super slow method a little bit longer. So that's probably why the results are shown that way. But also understand that cardiovascular exercise is definitely going to help benefit. The key points to remember are, just as an overall, exercise in general increases blood flow throughout the body, and therefore is going to increase blood flow to the brain. Increase blood flow to the brain and increase oxygenation of the brain is going to increase brain function. That's something that is across the board, no matter your age. But obviously, if you're elderly and your cognitive skills have decreased a bit, it's going to help a whole lot. you can decrease, if you strength training specifically will help decrease the rate of bone loss. Studies have shown that it can actually increase bone strength, but at least in the elderly, it's going to decrease the rate of bone loss. So if you're osteoporotic or osteopenia, on the border of osteoporosis, you can definitely stave off some of that bone loss with some strength training. Strength training also helps negate the effects of sarcopenia, or atrophying of muscles, muscle loss that is normal with decreased physical activity as you get older. You can definitely stave that off, if not actually increase muscle mass during this time period, no matter your age, depending on the level at which you strength train. Also understanding that it improves motor function. Just moving around is going to keep up your motor skills. That's something to be said. And it also can decrease arthritis pain. One way to keep the joints healthy is to keep them moving. If they are not moving, you're definitely going to have a degradation in your joints, because that's the only thing that blood flow is not. Your cartilage does not get a lot of blood flow. So the only way to force fluids and the nutrients through there is to move the joints. So that's a real big deal for people who have arthritis, is to make sure that they exercise regularly. Now, understanding all of those things is a big thing. They all play a role. So understanding those and implementing those as you get older, or suggesting that people, your parents or whoever that is in the elderly range, from, we'll use the age 65 and older, since AARP is saying that you're older if you're, I think it's actually 60 or older, but we'll use just the ages 65 and older. Benefits can be tremendous. So we'd recommend you do that. If you don't feel you know enough, you hire a personal trainer. They'll teach you what you need to know. They'll make sure things are safe as far as the progressions and as far as the amount of weight lifted and things like that. But don't be afraid of starting an exercise program. Don't be afraid of suggesting somebody start an exercise program just because they're elderly. You can do it at any time. If you need some help, feel free to contact me or make some comments on the blog. Otherwise, get to it, get fit, no matter how old you are.